Oh, what's up, man?
What's shaking?
Nothing. Happy to have you on. For those of you who don't know, Lorenzo, former Pro Bowl fullback, most notably probably with the Chargers. We just have a few questions to ask. Something that was just brought up by someone in the chat room. What do you believe is the greatest era in the history of the NFL?
I think when you look at it, I don't know. I think that there's been a lot of great eras. I mean, you have to, in order to get to the present, you have to go through the past. So I think the 80s, and when you had, the Steelers in the 70s, the Raiders, the Steel Curtain. But then you even go earlier than that. You go back when the greats played the game, and I think that the platforms that, from the beginning of the NFL, with those guys that, the Jack Lambert and the even prior before those guys, they made this game, the Namaths and all those other guys. If you don't have those guys, the guys who set the gauntlet for us, if they didn't, then who would we be? So they had to go through a lot to get this game, America's game, where it's at now. So I think there's been a lot of great eras. I think there's been a lot of parallels that makes the National Football League what it is today, and it's just been great because you have so many great players in different eras that has brought this sport to the forefront.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of great things that have happened in history, and even right now.
We're talking to Lorenzo Neal, former fullback in the NFL.
What are your thoughts on the NFL lockout, Lorenzo?
Well, I'd be glad when this thing gets over. I think that football is I think just sports itself. If you watch sports, think about, if you go back and just be an historian and really watch sports with Johnny Unitas and, the Tom Landrys as coaches and all the Art Shells as players, and you really just, you go back and watch what sports has done for this country, and I don't even know about this country, just the world. When in the 60s and 40s, blacks wasn't able to play ball. They wasn't able to play, you have the Jackie Robinson and baseball and all these different things that happen through our culture and through our history that makes us a better country. And I think when you watch what was one of the things that united this country and unites people, sports. I think sports is one of the only purest games that you can have different races and different cultures can come together and get to play together and unite together. So I think that sports, what it's done for just the country and our kids and our youth and who we are, our whole being as a country, the universe is, I think, has so much to do with sports.
Yeah. What was the favorite memory in your NFL career?
I think there's just many memories. I think, memories of just being drafted, being able, a grown man playing a kid's game, getting a king's ransom, and to be able to, I think that the moments that I have is the relationships that I have still with players, current players and former players, and to become a player player, and also now working in the media, working in Comcast various sports and doing the different things that I've done now. I think, those moments that I've had leads to these moments. And, playing in the Super Bowl, the Music City Miracle against the Buffalo Bills, that play that catapulted, the Titans to the AFC Championship. I think that had to be a favorable moment. Being on the field with LaDainian Tomlinson when he, breaks the single season touchdown record rushing. I mean, to have those moments, to play with guys, play with the Ricky Jacksons and the Stan Mills, and play with legends, play against legends, Reggie White on the field with Joe Montana. To actually play with those guys, the Lawrence Taylors, to be on the field with those guys, those are the moments. Those are the memories that that you can always say that, hey, I was in that era. I played with the great ones.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're talking to Lorenzo Neal, former football star, fullback for the NFL. Is Roger Goodell doing a good job in your opinion, Lorenzo?
I think that Roger Goodell is doing a good job. I think that he's doing a good job. I think that it's a situation where the NFL is a brand, and players come and go, and we have to realize that this is a game. This too shall pass. Look at the lockout in 1987. People said, "Hey, it's horrible. We don't want the lockout," and it is horrible because I think these young men, like the Ray Lewises and the Dawkins, these guys, they only have 1 year left. So you don't want this lockout to happen because you know that these guys, a lot of guys' career will be over, and not just that. A lot of these guys are going to free agency. A lot of teams, it hurts. But I think that Roger Goodell, it's not Roger Goodell who's the one who's trying to pass this deal. He's listening to the owners and GMs and the things that they want. They want to change. They want to change this game. When you have some of the guys that don't respect the game, or you have some guys, and then you have the exception to the rules, the Ray Lewis, the LaDainian Tomlinson, the Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, who are icons, guys that Brian Dawkins, who's now in Denver, guys that are legends, that respect the game, and you look at these guys, Tom Brady, and these guys, they deserve the salaries, they deserve what they get, but then you have some of the guys that don't necessarily respect the game and don't understand what it's like, and you see the owners are saying, look, we're paying a lot of money and investing a lot in these guys as our franchise, and when guys don't protect the brand and don't protect the shield, the NFL, there's repercussions. And so these owners with the salary cap, and it's only a certain amount of disposable income, they have to be very wise in the way that they distribute their cash, and you have to respect that. And players, on the other hand, they understand we can't play this game forever, and it's about getting what you can when you can, and you got to capitalize on that because you don't know when is the last play, or you're going to never be able to get on the field again. So they're both sides. I totally agree with both sides, and I'd just be glad when this thing's over because we need to get some football, because football is a great way for those 60 minutes. I think that a lot of people, they dream through watching professional sports.
All right, last question here. Something ESPN brought up was, could women ever play in professional sports? And that seems kind of silly to me, but could you ever see a woman playing in the NFL?
It's just, when you really want sports, and unfortunately, I think Title IX was great for women and just helped them, to be able to have, the freedom to be able to have the same amount of sports as men. And I understand because I have little girls, and I think that they deserve the right to play and do the things. But I just think that sometimes it's a socially unjust when you say that you have to play because you're a woman. You have to put the sports in. And you can't force people to pay and to do those things just because you say it's about being Title IX to be equal. I agree that Title IX needs to be there. I agree that women need to have the opportunity to be able to be athletic and go to things because they play, they work hard, they exert the same amount of energy. They work sometimes harder than males. I get it, but I think that when you try to put people in a box and say, "Oh, I want them to compete against men and do certain things," there is exception to the rules, but the good man upstairs didn't make us equal. That's why we call them women, and that's why you call them men. We're born different. We have different bone structure, and men are just more physical. So I think that you should have maybe professional women football, which they have. Matter of fact, they're having the lingerie, so you guys better go watch that football league, the lingerie. But I don't think that you'll see a woman really in the NFL that really can have an impact on the NFL. It's just too many guys. I mean, think about it. Less than 1% of guys out of college make it to the National Football League. So let's not be facetious here and say, can a woman go and play in the National Football League? Possible, but not probable.
All right, Lorenzo, we know you're busy, man. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks, guys.